Now see, the first thing you might want to do is, depending where it is, located over a bed or something. If I had a 6-foot ladder here, I would straddle the corner of this bed with the legs of the ladder so I could have the ladder over further. As it is, I'm gonna be kind of limited on exactly what I can do here. I can take my shoe off and I can be over here, and that's what I'm going to end up having to do. Okay, but I only have an 8-foot ladder here, and I don't want the ladder to be up here and then kind of move over that. If I had a 6-foot ladder, I could do it, but hey, no biggie. I'll get set up and be right back. Oh, that's funny. I was thinking I'm just going to have to take my shoes off and go shoeless and just walk around like that. Well, I got my trusty knee pad, and I think that'll work just fine. And especially if you're in somebody else's house, don't be using your dirty, grubby shoes on their furniture and stuff. Okay, so I've got to take a look at this. We're gonna look about the electrical here, but the first thing I've noticed is it has a piece of backing here, up in here. I got to be careful with this. I don't want to take the wire nuts off just yet or anything like that. In fact, just for safety purposes, I'm going to, where the light switches are, I'm going to turn that off and make sure the other one panel is down. I'm pretty sure the power's off, but I don't know that 100%, do I? But there's a brass piece up here that was designed for the light fixture, I believe, and I'm not going to be using that. And it's got the ground wire is on there, so I'm gonna just take that off to get it out of here. And I don't think I'll be using it. In fact, I can save it for that light fixture in case I want to reuse that light fixture somewhere else. And if I don't, you know what? I could put it on Facebook Marketplace. I'll bet you I could sell it. But as for the ground screw, I'm saving that. That's not going with it. Maybe this backing piece will. And if you've never tried Facebook Marketplace to sell things, you should try it. I used to have an account years ago with, what was it? I can't even remember the name. It's on the tip of my tongue too. What is the name of it? It'll come to me. It'll come to me. Oh, my battery's getting low too. See, there's just this bracket here. I'm not going to use that bracket. That's for that other light fixture, so I'm going to keep that together with the light fixture. And the mounting screws for that, see, they're nice little drywall screws, but they're the gold ones, so I like to save those because this is just paint and stuff. I can just flake that off and I can save these because every once in a while I'll need some gold screws, like maybe a strike plate is loose or a deadbolt strike plate or something like that, and maybe I can use this and drive it in a little bit further or something like that. So I like to save these. So I'm not gonna reuse those screws. I'll find something else for the mounting screws for the bracket assembly for the ceiling fan. Oh, Craigslist. Craigslist. I used to have an account for Craigslist years ago and stuff, but I don't think it's active anymore. And I got good results with Craigslist, but Facebook Marketplace, I've got good results with that too. Try it next time you want to sell something. And here's a tip for you. Speaking of Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or any other place for that matter that you may want to sell some of your materials that you're not going to use before you paint. Maybe your light fixtures, your ceiling fans, anything that you decide you're going to take down. Your light fixtures in the bathroom, take a picture of them. Because if you decide not to reuse that and to get a different light fixture in the bathrooms or a different light fixture for your bedroom, or you're going to put a ceiling fan up there instead of your light fixture, you're going to put a different ceiling fan than your old ceiling fan, or you're going to put different blinds up and you're going to take your old blinds down. Take pictures of all that stuff, because believe it or not, there's somebody on the internet who wants to buy it, okay? So as it is, I didn't do that. My loss is your gain. All right, but I'm going to have to take the light fixture and I'm going to set it down on the ground with all little parts to it and stuff, and I'll take a picture of it and post that on Facebook Marketplace. And I'm sure for this light fixture, I might get 20 bucks for it. But think of all the different things that you could put on there. If you got 4 or 5 light fixtures, that could be an extra 100 bucks in your pocket, and it could save somebody. That light fixture there that we had up there, had I replaced that from the store, probably might be a replacement valuation of $75 to $100, depending what kind of light fixture I get and all that kind of good stuff, okay? So for somebody else, maybe they don't have 100 bucks, but they got 20 bucks for a new light fixture, and you'd be doing them a favor, you'd be doing yourself a favor. You won't have to throw them away. You can recycle it. Be good to the environment, and the environment will be good to you. Okay, now I'm going to get back up there. I've got the light switches. As far as I know, I got them turned off, but I'm still going to be careful. And I'm going to confirm a few things. And that'll help me decide how to go about installing this, right? I'm pretty sure the black and white wire were connected to the dimmer switch. Okay, so I'm going to undo those first. I'm not even going to worry about that other wire down in there yet. Okay. And if you notice, you saw that I just have the plastic wire nuts on here, and I had those nice and tight up there over one wire. How on earth did you do that, Joe? Well, once I took that out, of course I couldn't just twist this back up there to hold it. I had to twist the end of the wires to make it mimic that there was 2 wires here, 2 wires there, and I could get my plastic wire nut back on there. That way I didn't have to put, I could have used orange wire nuts, but that way it's nice, quick and easy before you get ready to paint, before you get ready to repaint and stuff. It's nice to put your wire nuts on there to protect it in case your light switch is left on. It's never a good idea to leave wires, you know, uncovered, because if somebody happens to turn on a light switch, and if those 2 wires happen to be too close to each other, or the ground wire, or who knows what, and all of a sudden the wires spark, it could cause a fire. Maybe it's a vacant house that you're working on, and all that kind of stuff. And hey, you don't want to have to explain yourself to an insurance company why you did that, do you? Okay, these 2 wires should be off. I'm going to take my tester and just test on there, and sure enough they are off. Okay, that's because my dimmer switch is in the off position. I'm going to turn that on. Okay, now I'm going to bet you, wager, a good old-fashioned wager, that this light is going to go on. Kaboom. It goes on because they use these 2 particular wires to hook up their light. Okay, so now I'm going to turn that light dimmer switch off, and I'm going to turn the other switch on the wall. Okay, this one right here, I'm going to turn this one on now. Well, actually, let's leave that off just for kicks. Okay, I'm going to leave that off. Just bear with me here for a minute. I know those wires, those other wires are off right now. There's no power to those wires. I'm not going to get shocked or anything, am I? No, I'm not going to. And I'm going to take that, I'm going to fish, this is off here, so I'm going to carefully fish this wire out. And yes, it was a 12-3 wire with ground that's coming out of the box. It's a Romex wire that's coming down, red, black, white, and a ground wire, okay, coming out. Now I've got that switch off still, so that should tell me that this wire is off. And I've noticed that's just, this yellow wire nut was on there just over the end of your plastic sheathing because they never used it. And so I got to be real careful here and hold my wire on there. And it's off. There's no power to it. Okay? There should be power to it when I turn the regular light switch on the wall on. I'm going to turn it on. See, it tells me that they never used that because they never had a ceiling fan up here. And so they just never stripped that wire. And I've got to, boy, this should be on, but it's not. I don't know what's going on. Maybe because it's not stripped back. I might not be touching it exactly. Let's see if I can see. There's, oh, there it is. Okay, did you see the orange light went on? I'm having a hard time because that wire is not stripped. So I'm not going to strip it with the power on. I'm going to turn that light switch off, and I'm pretty sure, I'm 99.99999% sure that that wire is off and that I can strip it. And did you know, if the power was on still to that red wire, I could probably strip this anyways as long as I don't touch anything else. And I should be able to strip it without anything happening. Okay? And let's see. It should be off right now because I turned that light switch on the wall off because I'm making the assumption it's off, and that red wire is in fact hooked up to that light switch, and I'll know that in a minute, won't I? Okay? Now I'm going to turn that light switch on. Click. Right there. And it should be on. Okay? And it's on. I hope you can see that orange light on my wire tester. It's on right now. Okay? And hopefully I'm not confusing you or anything. I'm going to turn it off right now. Now I should have the power off. OFF. On everything up here. Okay? I'm first going to check the black and white wire. And it's off. I'm going to check the white and red wire. It's off. You could check the ground in one of your wires. They're all off. Okay? Well, now everything's off. And so now do you see, because I'm installing a ceiling fan up here and not a light fixture, okay, I can hook up the red wire and the white wire and the ground wire. I don't have to use the black wire. The black wire now, we can say, is, we know that that black wire, I think you've got it figured out, but I'm just going to kind of go over. We know the black and white wire go down to the dimmer switch. We know the white wire is interconnected, and the white wire is always a neutral wire, so the red wire goes to this light switch, right? That's the one they never were using before. So if we use this one now instead of this, let's just make believe that's gone away, okay? This one is for the red wire up there, okay? So that can be our power now for the ceiling fan, can it? And so when I hook up the ceiling fan, what am I going to do? I am going to hook up the ground wire. Let's turn this back off. I am going to hook up the red. Let's get up here higher. I'm going to hook up the red wire and the white wire in the ground wire. This black wire I'm not going to hook up. I'm going to put a wire nut on there, shove that back up in the box. Now I'm going to make believe this is a black wire. A red wire is a power wire. A black wire is a power wire. Got it? This red wire is hooked up to that second light switch. And the reason why I'm going to hook that one up is because they say on light fixtures you don't want to hook it up to a dimmer light switch such as the one that we have on the wall. Okay? That's why I'm going to do that. I'm not going to use this at all. I'm going to use this one. Had I only had this in the wall, let's say I didn't have a 2-gang switch, had I just had this and only a black and white wire going up there, they say do not re-hook up your ceiling fan onto a ceiling fan dimmer light switch. Okay, just a standard one. Got it? So then I would have to take this out of the box and go to the store and get a single pole light switch and put over here. Okay, but since this is a 2-gang box and we have the single pole light switch, we're just going to call that the single pole power switch now for the ceiling fan. I'm not going to hook this up at all. This is going up to the black wire up there. I'm putting a wire nut on there. You can push this and do anything to it all day long. When I have that ceiling fan on, this is going to do nothing. Okay, it's just going to be sitting here in the box. And for that matter, if in fact anywhere else in the condo or anywhere else in the house, if you're in a house, and if you ever need a dimmer light switch, you don't have to go back to the store, do you? If you want, you could take this one right here and you can use this one. And you can put anything here. You put a blank plate over it. You know, they have inserts at the store where you can take this cover plate off after you remove that and redo the wires in there and all that kind of stuff. You can put a blank plate that fits right in here and you can screw that back on the wall. Or they might have a cover plate at the store that has just a one hole in it and nothing else. And if you wanted, you could take that light switch power and move it over to here if you want, and have the blank over there if you want. But again, you don't have to do anything like that. You can just leave it like this for now. You don't have to do anything. This power is always going to be on for the ceiling fan now. I never have to touch that again. If I ever touch that, I know the power is off. And the remote control, the handheld remote control for the new ceiling fan is not going to work until I come over here and turn the power back on to the ceiling fan, my power switch. Now my power switch is on. Now I can just leave that in the on position forevermore. And I never have to turn that again, knowing that my ceiling fan is always going to work with the handheld remote that comes with the new ceiling fan. Okay? So now I got that figured out. I guess I can put the wire nut back on the black wire and shove that back up in the box so I don't have to worry about that anymore. Now see, the reason why I have to put a wire nut back on there is because if somebody ever happened to come down here, let's say somebody happened to come down here and thinking that this light switch was for these lights next to the bed. Well, they're not. And so they may turn this on and think, okay, I don't know what that does, but we're just going to leave it like that, and it's in the on position, okay? It can be in the on position, and you're going to be throwing power up to that black wire up there that's up in your light fixture, okay? And that's why we got to have the wire nut on there. That's why the red wire up there had a wire nut on there in case anybody 15 years before me, and anytime in that 15 years, if this light switch was on, it would have been on and thrown power up to that red wire up there. But they didn't need to hook up that red wire for a regular light fixture, right? That regular light fixture usually needs a ground wire, a black wire, and a white wire. That's why the red wire was never hooked up. They were going to use that for the light, for a ceiling fan, in the old days when they installed light ceiling fans, you could decide, do you want a light kit on that ceiling fan or not? If you have the light kit on the ceiling fan, then the red wire would have been used for that. Okay, so that in a nutshell is kind of how that electrical works.